So welcome to another episode of the Naughty Grapevine, a series dedicated to expanding your appreciation of wines and spirits. This particular episode is all about rosés as we celebrate International Rosé Day on August 14th. Today I have with me our in-house expert on all things wines, Arveyann Dillon. She has just completed the second level in the WSET program. Could you tell us a little more about that program?
Well, it was a very great program, and I would advise anyone that is really interested in wines to really log on to wset.com and you could try out level 1 where it would be a basic understanding on wines, and it would be lovely when it is you go to the grocery store or to a restaurant, you know what you want to drink.
Oh gosh, I would love to have that knowledge, but thank goodness we have you here to help us out today. So as you can see, we have this wonderful array of wines that we offer in-store and online. And Arvy's here to kind of guide us through this huge portfolio that we have. So Arveyann, I see you brought for us a treat here today. What wine are we tasting?
Yes, we are tasting Santa Margherita Brut Rosé.
Wonderful. And while I take a little sip on this, cheers by the way.
Cheers.
Divine. What exactly is Brut Rosé?
Well, people have the misconception that all rosés are sweet. Brut Rosé actually has a lower content of residual sugar in it. So it's not as sweet as your typical.
Right, but this is actually quite refreshing nonetheless. And that has to do with the temperature, because this is a sparkling wine. So what's the ideal temperature that we would usually have our wines at?
Definitely you want it chilled. You really want to get the aroma out and you want to really enjoy something nice and refreshing. So what I would recommend, you get it from the store, stick it in the freezer for probably about an hour, and then pull it back out, and it's perfect to serve.
Perfect. And for those viewers who may not have seen our earlier episode where we went into a little detail about how these rosés get their wonderful color, could you share with us a little more on that?
Sure. So when you pick a red grape and you squeeze it, the juice that comes out is colorless. So basically what happens is the winemaker will choose to put the grape skins in contact with the juice, and it extracts the color. And rosés typically go from 6 to 36 hours in terms of keeping the skins in contact with the juice. And red wines, well, they go a little while longer, about 2 weeks.
Wow. So, and I can see that because these are the varying colors that you see throughout, so I can almost make a guess which one stayed for how long.
Correct.
With the soaking with the skins.
But not only that, some grape skins or some grapes have different characteristics. So say like a Syrah grape will be a little deeper in color versus a Pinot Noir. So it's a little lighter in color.
Okay, and since you brought up the topic of grapes, can you tell us what different types of grapes, the type of rosé that they would produce in terms of taste profile? So you said Shiraz, deeper color, but what kind of taste would I get from that?
So typically with rosés, you get red fruit. However, with say like Syrah or Shiraz, they tend to have a little more darker fruits. So, but it wouldn't be as full like it usually would with the red wines.
So I know, for instance, as we brought up Shiraz, it usually has like a hint of spice in it. Would I get that
Definitely
in my rosés?
Spice. Yes, you're gonna get some spiciness there in it.
Okay. So can you share a little bit more about the sparkling wine portfolio that we have in front of us?
Yes. So we have some affordable options, say like the DeLuca, and then we go up in price with Santa Margherita. And if it is you feel a little more celebratory, you can go across to the champagnes.
Okay, so can you tell us a little more about the different styles? We touched on it briefly when we said
the grapes,
the Brut and the grapes and all of that.
Yes.
What can you share with us about these wines?
Well, these wines are cool region wines, so typically the alcohol content is lower. And they're a little more on the refreshing side. We definitely gonna get notes of nice strawberries, cranberries, because of the acidity level that the wine actually needs to make it that refreshing. Not too much of residual sugar on these wines.
Right, perfect. And typically, what would you pair? Because we always love to, introduce people to what they can pair these wines with. So what would you recommend?
Rosés are the easiest things to pair with. They go with anything, especially bubbly. So what I would recommend with this is something, like a salmon, a nice salmon. Seafood is definitely good with it, or even some hot cheddar. It's really good with it.
Sounds like something that I might enjoy with even sushi. Would you recommend?
Definitely, definitely.
I'm on the spot there. So Arvi, since you've shared a little bit about the sparkling range, which included the champagnes, tell us a little more about these lovely still wines that we have before us.
All right, so some of these still wines we have from different regions or different parts of the world rather. We have some from Argentina, from Australia, and then the French. So particularly this one, Hardy Stamp, is actually a pink Moscato. So we know Moscatos are a little sweeter than the other wines.
Right.
So we also want to pay attention to read some of the labels because they could give us a little cheat to let us know if it's sweet, if it's dry. We look at some of the lovely French rosés,
Right.
particularly the Barton and Goustier, the Côte de Provence. It actually comes from the Provence region, and it's a blend of two grapes,
Right.
Grenache and Syrah. And typically when we cook our pilau, we like to put different spices. That's how a winemaker really develops his blends. So from the Grenache, you get some really nice spices, and then you want to have different red fruits coming out, so you would use a different grape, and that's how they bring about their rosés.
Oh my God, I love that analogy. Perfect. Tell us a little more about how we compare some of these still wines. You mentioned a Moscato there.
Yes.
These wines tend to be a little more on the drier side.
Yes, definitely. So with sweet, you want to pair something that has a little more spice. So say like a curry roti, definitely good. Your Hardy Stamp, pink Moscato,
Wow.
right? And then on the dry side, we want to have probably a nice sushi. Your outer grills. Good selection will be an Insolence if it is you don't want to go in something that is a little pricey. That's what I would recommend.
And on a note on the Insolence, this is actually growing in popularity here in our store and online. I encourage you to check out all these wines, of course, but this one has my heart these days. So now we have the Francia Pink Moscato. Arvi, can you share a little bit more about this particular wine?
Sure. Well, first off, Francia Pink Moscato in a box is absolutely fab because you can take it to the beach. You can stick it in your freezer, in your fridge. It doesn't take up too much space, and it lasts for 6 weeks fresh.
Wow. And this handy packaging is actually the equivalent of 2 bottles in one box.
Definitely.
Which means, there's so much more to share with friends or just for yourself, if that's what you like.
And what I would like to share with you is on the side of the box, it actually has a lot of information that a lot of people, probably wouldn't look for. And it actually tells you the taste notes, the sweetness, the level of sweetness, and as well as the body. So if it is you want to find out more information on the wines and you see them on your grocery store, feel free to pick up a box rather, and just look at that cheat sheet.
Perfect. So Arvi, I want to thank you for joining us for this episode. We hope to see you soon. And everyone out there, look out for another episode of the Naughty Grapevine.